Welcome to today's Explainer. So, have you ever actually paused to think about who is really in the driver's seat of your life? We all love to imagine that we have complete, conscious control over our actions and our decisions. We really like to think we're being totally rational. But, well, psychology tells a completely different story. The truth is, right beneath our conscious awareness, there are these quiet, deeply ingrained, automated systems just operating in the background. They're literally steering the ship without us even realizing it.
Just think about your own life for a second. Why do you constantly go against what you actually want? I mean, why do we stay in these stagnant situations that clearly don't serve us anymore? Why do you consistently put off working on your biggest goals, even when you deeply, truly want to achieve them? Or, oh, how about this one? Why do you find yourself lying awake at 2 in the morning, obsessively overthinking a totally normal conversation you had like 3 days ago? It's crazy. But here's the thing, when you don't understand the invisible psychological rules governing your brain, you kind of become a prisoner to your own subconscious patterns.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Today we're going to unpack these invisible rules in 4 steps. 1. Comfort and instant gratification. 2. Defending the fragile ego. 3. Silence and the night. And finally, 4. Taking back your mind.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Comfort and Instant Gratification.
Let's start with a really foundational psychological concept called the mere exposure effect. Basically, this rule says that the more we experience something, the more comfortable it feels. We develop a preference for things simply because they're familiar to us. And why is that? Well, because to your brain, predictability equals security. Your brain is totally hardwired for survival, which means it naturally treats uncertainty, even if it's positive uncertainty, as a literal physical threat.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we're forced to choose. Between familiar discomfort and uncertain opportunity, which one do you think wins? Your brain will almost always choose a predictable struggle over the unknown. Psychologically, this is exactly why people stay in dead-end jobs, toxic relationships, or just, totally unfulfilling routines for years. The familiar safety of that discomfort emotionally outweighs the exciting but scary possibility of change.
So, this brings us to our second hidden rule, the dopamine trap. It's essentially a battle of timelines. On one hand, you have actions like endless scrolling or watching just one more video of a cat doing parkour. Those give you an immediate result, right? Instant satisfaction. But on the other hand, actions like going to sleep early or grinding away on a long-term goal, those won't actually give you a reward until tomorrow, or maybe even next year. To put it simply, the stark reality of human psychology is that immediate rewards will absolutely crush future consequences almost every single time.
The magic phrase that completely traps us is always, just one more. One more scroll, one more video, just one more episode. Immediate rewards are, psychologically speaking, incredibly hard to resist. Your brain is literally tricking you. It convinces you to sacrifice your future freedom, your health, and your long-term goals for just one fleeting, tiny moment of comfort right now.
Moving right along to Section 2, Defending the Fragile Ego.
So our third invisible rule is the identity filter. Ultimately, your behavior almost always follows your identity. Your brain will actively, aggressively reject any incoming information from the outside world that doesn't match how you secretly see yourself. For example, if someone secretly dislikes themselves, their mind acts as this highly effective filter. It completely distorts their incoming experiences to match that negative self-image.
Now, what's really interesting here is the dramatic difference in how we process failure. When someone with a negative self-image makes a mistake, they don't just objectively step back and say, oh, I made an error. No, their brain actively edits reality to tell them, I am a mistake. It attaches the failure directly to their core identity. And this mechanism is so unbelievably powerful that even if they receive a genuine, heartfelt compliment, they'll just brush it off or feel super uncomfortable, simply because that praise conflicts with their internal narrative.
Another massive ego defense we use is responsibility avoidance. When things go wrong, an emotionally immature mind instinctively looks for external targets. We've all seen it, right? Blaming bad luck, a terrible boss, or even family members. It's an involuntary reflex, designed entirely to temporarily protect your fragile ego from facing uncomfortable truths about your own shortcomings.
But listen, here is the harsh truth about all this. Avoiding accountability completely prevents personal growth. While pointing fingers might feel really good and protective in the moment, it fundamentally keeps you stuck. True adulthood, and honestly, real success, only begins the exact second you stop letting your mind make these automated excuses and you start taking absolute ownership of your life.
That brings us to Section 3, Silence and the Night.
Let's take a look at the silence rule. It's pretty simple. Talking gives information out, while listening brings information in. Most of us feel this immense, almost crushing pressure to fill awkward silences, don't we? But quiet individuals understand a hidden rule of social dynamics. By remaining quiet and observant, they can just sit back and watch behavior, tone, and reactions. Speaking less actually serves as a powerful form of emotional self-protection. It gives you way more control over what others know about you, all while you're building a much clearer picture of everyone else in the room.
Let's move along and see how this builds into what we call the nighttime filter. See, during the day, you're busy, your mind is highly productive, and it's automatically filtered by work, scrolling on your phone, and talking to people. All that daily noise keeps your deeper feelings pushed way down beneath the surface. But at night, when all those distractions finally disappear, those suppressed emotions that have just been waiting patiently all day finally step up and demand your attention.
So why exactly do those midnight thoughts hit so incredibly hard? It's because mental exhaustion significantly reduces your brain's ability to manage stress rationally. That's exactly why after midnight, those ignored emotions, or those mildly embarrassing memories from 5 years ago, or even totally random worries, suddenly feel massively out of proportion and completely overwhelming. Basically, your brain's automatic filtering system is totally powered down for the night.
And finally, Section 4, taking back your mind. So, the absolute crucial point is this. How do we break the cycle? You have to recognize the patterns, stop reacting to these ancient survival mechanisms, and take deliberate control of your future. Human behavior is not random. As you've seen today, it's highly predictable. It's perfectly designed to keep us safe, comfortable, and completely unchanged. But recognizing these invisible rules, that's your key out of the cage. It's what allows you to finally stop living your life on autopilot.
Which leads me to a final, pretty provocative question for you. Are you ready to stop overlooking the patterns and actually start taking ownership? Once you understand these tiny psychological mechanisms that shape people's lives, you begin to see the whole world and yourself completely differently. If you enjoyed this explainer and want to uncover way more of the hidden psychology driving human behavior, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because once you see these invisible rules, you literally can't unsee them. And that, my friends, is exactly where your true control begins.